a certain individual, Candace Owens, got kicked off of YouTube.
Is that true? That's your homegirl.
That's not my homegirl. Look, people. They banned her like 3 days ago. She was really upset about it.
Why? What happened? I mean, to me, I will say this about Candace, though. I'll say that it's interesting to see in the post, where was she at? She was at
Daily Wire.
The Daily Wire. It'll be interesting to see what she does with her post Daily Wire career. And you wonder if she shot all the bullets out of her gun yet, or if she has more. I mean, she obviously has a huge following. She's good at what she does and the way that she does it. But why did they kick her off YouTube? I did not see this.
So here's what happens, right? She gets fired from the Daily Wire for criticizing Israel, talking about the genocide, challenging Rabbi Shmuley and a couple other people. Honestly, I agreed with her on like a lot of the stuff. And she basically was saying, y'all aren't going to call me anti-Semitic just because I don't agree with the genocide. And she said, look, as a Christian, I can't support an Israeli genocide. I just can't, right? That's where it goes. So then, Ben Shapiro says he didn't do anything, but he's very influential there and he does have ownership interest in the channel. He was leaking all these things about her. They were all leaking things about her to the press. End of the day, they fire her. She says, all right, I'm going to go on my own. She had 3 million YouTube subscribers through Daily Wire. So now she has to start over on the muscle. Within a week, she had 1.5 million.
Yeah, big voice.
1 million. And it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And she's making money. She's getting enough views to really make it make sense. She's killing the game. And then earlier this week, she airs an interview. She airs the interview with Kanye.
I remember that.
And that's kind of all it really takes. But she also was getting a little too into, she wasn't just sticking to the critiques of Israel. She started to say things that sounded anti-Semitic. And she started interviewing people who were anti-Semitic, like Kanye, or at least airing the interview. And so she basically says, though, that they came after her. Like, she had no strikes on her account. And then within like an hour, she had 3 strikes. And if you get 3 strikes, you're done. So, and the person had like 1 follower, but they were just reporting the content, reporting it for hate, reporting it for all these things. So she feels like it's a conspiracy, which, plays into the tropes, but also, I mean, my personal feeling is she said some shit that was anti-Semitic and they called her on it and they pulled her down.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Candace Owens thing in terms of the Daily Wire is interesting just because I think she forgot what she was there for. And, I never told you this before, but I was at TMZ. When I was at TMZ, I might have said it before on here on Night School, but when I was at TMZ, we get into these vague, amorphous cultural discussions. And the discussions would be about, whenever you're in a room full of white people in culture, the question is always going to become, okay, why can't we say the N-word? They say it in music. All of those same boring conversations we've been having since like 1996. And we have these conversations and they rationalize it. They use logic. They'd say, well, if I buy a song and the song has a word in it, I should be able to say that word. And we go back and forth and you have the same old. And Lil Dicky came out. And when Lil Dicky came out, Lil Dicky would say the K word in some of his raps.
Yeah.
And we had set up a shot with Lil Dicky. And they asked me to ask the camera guy, like, what the camera guy should ask. And I had the camera guy ask if Lil Dicky is okay with anyone who bought any of his records saying that, knowing that wasn't a thing, right?
Right.
The question never even made it to air because when we were doing the show the next day, they were so outraged. And I remember
at the
question, which, by the way, I have absolutely no desire to say that word.
Of course.
No desire to say that word, right?
It's not everything people do.
Right. I have zero desire to say that. But if the rationale was, well, this kind of tells you guys some of the trouble I've been making there for a while. If the rationale was, well, if you buy a song, you should be able to say whatever is inside of the song. I'm like, well, if I hold you, yeah, right. Never made it. Got mad. I remember one of the guys who was a friend of mine, still is, was, man, are you trying to say you want to be able to say the K word? And I'm like, no. Are you guys trying to say that you guys want to say the N word? You guys, you said that pretty explicitly. I bring that up to say this. I wasn't there to challenge their culture. That's not why I was there. Right? I was there to either defend mine or be a cog in the wheel to give them cover to do it and say that they had a black guy in the room. I wasn't there to ask those same questions. And Candace forgot that. Candace was there to attack us. To give them cover in calling out what's wrong with our culture and what we do wrong and all of that. She wasn't there to take stances on Israel, and she wasn't there to make observations about the geopolitical ramifications of what was going on in that region. And she wasn't there to really give that. She forgot what her job was. Now that's different than Kanye West. Kanye West went into a protracted black hole of lunacy, to where he repeated some of the most disgusting, the most reprehensible tropes, and said that he loved Adolf Hitler. So she should know better. She should know better. Mark, don't say it, bro. She should know. She should know better.
I'm not even thinking it.
Like she should know better than to upload that after all of this time, because especially that interview just doesn't serve her or serve anyone. Kanye doesn't have anything to add.
Do you get so ensconced in the colorblind narrative and that you're just one of us thing and the popularity that you actually forget that you're there to just be the attack dog?
You know, I don't want to. This is the difference between me and a lot of other people. It's a black lady at the end of the day, and so I want to be as charitable as I can be in my response. But the honest answer is, I don't know. I don't know if, like, I've talked to people before, and after talking to them, I feel like they're mythomaniacs. Like they've chemically started to believe some of the things that they probably know aren't true, or the emotional response to whatever that they're saying is so strong that they don't take the time to legislate it after a while, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's not going through any sort of a process. So with her, my gut tells me it's a very direct and obvious grift. But if that was the case, I would wonder why she would take the stance that she took
on Israel,
because it seemed like she really believed it.
Right. It's like in anthropology, we talk about going native, or like there's this moment where you lose your shit. Like if it's a grift, and I tend to not assume people are grifting. And
I do. Same here. Yeah, same here.
I think people just be wrong, or I think people convince themselves of things. I don't think most people walk into the room with a hustle. Like Jesse Lee Peterson does not walk into the room with guile. He is just
that's different.
Really?
Yeah, dog. Come on, Mark.
I think he's stupid and hates himself.
Yeah, but Mark, he's doing a comedy bit. That's like he was just a little early. Had he been a little later, he'd have been even more of a sensation. He's hysterical.
But not on purpose.
But yes, he is hysterical on purpose. You can't tell me that's an act, dog. First of all, a lot of the things that he was talking about in regards to other people and their sexuality, now there are all kinds of credible questions about why he might have been projecting in that way. But even beyond that.
But that's every black preacher in America, damn near.
I get it, but even that is part of selling an image that's not true. But when you're talking to someone and you go, you're a beta male, come on, man. Like there was a part of that, the children of the lie, like calling Trump the Great White Hope. That's all of that's an act, dog.
I think he genuinely, if you strapped him to a polygraph right now, he would say white people's ice is colder, and would absolutely believe it, like without a doubt. Now, I think the contradictions are there, like the whole, why are you gay? I hate gay people, and then
yeah,
and then these allegations again. I don't know if they're true or not, but they're very strong and credible allegations that have gone on for decades.
Right.
And you say, well, wow, how can you be homophobic and not, and clearly struggling with this issue? And it's like, okay, I get all of that, but I don't know. I think Candace got converted into it. But again, it's easy to start believing the shit if it's profitable. That's the part of it that I think people miss. It's like, yeah, like if you gave me $1 million, if every day you fed me and clothed me and sheltered me my whole life, and I was like an orphan, yeah, I might start believing in Jesus, or I might start believing in Buddha, or I might start, you know what I mean? Because it's not that you made me do it, but there's something, it's a compelling argument, and doing it under duress.
Yeah. I mean, look, there was an interview that she did with your old friend, Destiny, not too long ago. And some of the things that she said in the interview, I know she just can't believe those things. Like she said that, most of the people she said most of the people that she knows, and he did a good job with her. I mean, say whatever you want about him, all he does is debate people all day long, all the time, so he's pretty sharp at it. She said that people that go to college, she doesn't think are as literate as people who don't go to college, which just, I mean, it's just not true, right? It's like, and I have a problem. Like, I have a problem thinking that she believes that. I think it's part of a narrative that she crafts, right? It's part of and we can have a conversation, by the way, about how much college serves you and the differing ways that people should kind of get into the next phase of their life after their high school years, entrepreneurship, trade schools, all different types of situations, right? We can talk about that, right? We don't have to we can talk about also what higher education looks like and what that means, and whether or not that's a grift in a way for kids who can't pay for it, and the loans. And we could talk about all of that stuff and have a conversation about it, right? But to say that people that go to college on average are less literate than people who don't go to college, she's got to know that that's not true. You know what I mean? And so he's having that conversation with her, and just a bunch of different things. You see her glom onto something and stick onto something. We all know that she's smart. So there are times where I go, she can't believe the things that she's saying.
I'm not saying she's not smart. Okay, so, and let me say just as a caveat, when I say people are smart or not smart, it's like, I'm not saying it with any ego. I mean, I'm saying it based on my profession. It's like if LeBron says somebody's athletic, right? It's like there's levels to it, right? Like she's smart the way like regular people are smart, right?
Oh my God. Did y'all Mark, talk your shit. Oh my Lord. I've never heard you talk like that before. You are the LeBron of this thinking shit. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Mark, talk your shit to these
I'm more of a TJ McConnell of this thinking shit. But the point is, like, if I'm in the NBA and I say somebody's athletic, it's different than saying like some, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm athletic, I could dunk, right? But I'm not basketball athletic.
Athleticism in the pickup gym is different than athleticism in the D2 gym, in the D1 gym.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's different.
I'm watching Chris Paul and Steph Curry doing East Bay funks and shit in the warm-up lines like it's nothing.
Right.
You know, no one will call them athletic. Relative to the NBA. Similarly, Candace is smart in LA Fitness. You know, but would you put her up against, you know what I'm saying? Pros, and it's like you're not. But the problem is this social media shit, and this is no disrespect to Candace. I think Candace is smart. I just think that the YouTube space places smart people next to really, really, really smart people. So it's like now you're in a celebrity basketball game, and it looks cute for a minute when people aren't playing hard. But when you start applying pressure, it looks different, but you can't tell the difference. So I don't think that, I think there are moments where she is holding on to an idea or a thought or an argument that she thinks is bodying people because she's in LA Fitness. And you know what I mean? And then for a moment or two, it looks good in the celebrity game.
Right.
But don't try to come to real practice because now we're reaching.
Yeah, look,
That's her.
Part of standing out and making points is about emotional intelligence as well, right? It's about being able to read people. It's about being cunning in a way. It's about being able to like lead people into traps and then exploit those traps. It's also about just putting people in the bear trap of common sense, right? Like there's one disease that's going around on social media, or not really even social media, in the lexicon of thought and talk stuff. And that is the idea that if enough people believe something, that the idea is credible.
Yes.
And you hear that all the time now. Like even in response to the blacks eat cats phenomenon.
I'm sorry. I can't believe that we're in a moment where that's a thing.
It is. But remember now, the response to that, to the questioning of its validity, it wasn't like JD Vance and Donald Trump, both of them, right? It wasn't, hey, we talk to people who have the investigative power and the administrative power in these towns to know whether or not that's happening, and they say it's not happening. What they said was people are saying that it's happening. So being that people are saying that it's happening, we don't know people. It's people 2 people, it's people 100 people, people 10,000 people, it's people 1 person. Like people are saying that it's happening. And if people are saying that it's happening, well, you got to take it serious. And so I think a lot of times in those types of debates, what you'd say is, well, so are all of the people that went to the Capitol on January 6th wrong? You're just saying all those people are wrong. Those people don't matter. Yeah, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. And it doesn't matter if it was 30,000 of them or if it was 30 million of them. Right. They believe something that isn't true, and their numbers don't make it any more valid. And I think sometimes when you're arguing with people really on the left and the right, they'll go back to consensus to make their argument.
Does the right do that more than the left, though?
Yeah.
But I just think they do too. And I hate that sometimes we have to say this, you know, both sides thing. And it's like sometimes I feel like, nah, this is just them.
You know what the real problem with it is? And the reason why I do that is because neither one of these political wings of thought are black. And let me tell you something. I had enough, man. I was with the white man for 9 years. Like in a place where I had to make all types of determinations, and I never stepped over the line. But when you work there, you have to tell yourself a story. And I'm not telling myself no stories about nobody no more. I'm not doing that. So I don't want to give nobody cover. I always want to dole it out equally. I'd rather err on the side of caution in terms of over criticizing both sides than I would making it seem like I'm beholden to one group or not. And so the reality is, at this point, the anti-intellectual sort of rumor mill pulp fiction politics is almost exclusively on one side. But it feels weird for me to not criticize the left for some of the groupthink that they have as well.